We knew this was going to be a very good game. It's a rivalry game, and we made that clear to our kids. And the one thing we put on the board that would be the key to the game is who won the rebound battle. And last year we won the rebound battle in Provo, and tonight they won the rebound battle, 40-26. And that was a huge part of the game. So I like the grit of my team. It's an early season game, so we're going to learn from it. We didn't fragment, we didn't point fingers, we just kept fighting. And we didn't play a perfect game, but we fought our way to a tie late in the second half. And credit to BYU, they made winning plays the last 2 minutes to give themselves a win. So I'm proud of my team's effort. I thought we fought back, which is hard to do sometimes. And credit to BYU, they played a good game and were deserving of the win.
What do you contribute to the slow start? Was rebounding part of that slow start tonight? And what's been the biggest factor in the slow starts you've had this season?
You know, I thought we had some opportunities we didn't take advantage of. You know, that we had some shots. I mean, AG had a layup he missed. Keyshawn Johnson had an offensive rebound he missed. Terrell Gomez, one of our best three-point shooters, had 2 wide open threes. So in some regards, the offense can only create the shots, and we have to make them. So to our credit, we hung in there, even though we were down 15 or so. We finally got some offensive rhythm. We went low post to Matt early in the second half and let him post up and either create shots for himself or others. So we went inside with a low post presence, and I thought it kind of helped us. And then when they went big and we went small, that's where we went to Matt on the perimeter. He hit a couple threes, he isolated their bigs, and we got him rolling because we played that mismatch. So I have to do a better job getting us in a better rhythm, and we have to do a better job. I thought in the first half we didn't execute like we could have. Some of our play calls, I thought we tried to we got discouraged and tried to create some of our own shots and didn't work within the offense. So we'll correct that. This is a good group of kids that want to play the right way, and they will.
Did you feel like there was a moment or two in the second half, if you guys complete a play, hit a loose ball that could have turned this around completely?
I mean, I think we had a tie game, and Matt had made a bunch of threes, and we had a fast break, and Matt had a pull-up three on the break. You know, he'd made a lot of them, and so if that goes in, maybe we're up 3 all of a sudden. I think it might have been tied, or we might have been 2 at that time. But we missed it, and they came down and made a play. Everett, to his credit, hit a couple really big threes for him. And Barcelo's great. We all know that. I mean, he continues to shoot 60-some% from the field, 60 from 3, and he's a very good guard.
And the last one for you, from me. When was the last time you saw a player kind of put a team on his shoulders the way Matt did tonight?
It's hard to say over this long career. I've seen quite a few, but Matt's performance was right up there. I mean, we can take no celebration in that because we lost the game. You know, it was fun to watch Matt put us on his shoulders, but we didn't get a win, so it kind of went for naught. So Matt has to continue. I told him down the stretch, Matt, you're the go-to guy right now, so you have to create shots for your teammates too. If you draw a double, you draw 2. You got to get someone else a shot. And that part of his game, he's getting better at and growing. So I'm proud of Matt's effort, but we didn't get a win, so it's kind of all for naught.
I mean, just talk about your schedule. There's sooner or later you're going to run into a team that was hot, and you guys are going to come out a little bit flat. Is this a function of having a really, really hard early schedule?
Yeah, I mean, every game we're playing is challenging, and now we're playing, I don't know, a team that's picked ahead of them in the standings in the WCC this year, or right behind them, St. Mary's on Tuesday, who's 7-1. So we've scheduled tough games, and so we knew there was a chance we were going to take some lumps. But 6 games in, we're nowhere what we need to be, and this is good for us. Obviously, I told him at halftime, I don't want to learn from a loss. I'd rather learn as we win. But we're going to have to fight our way back in the second half. And I told him after the game, I'm proud of all of them. And if you're productive, your minutes will stay high. If you're not productive, they'll drop. And that's game to game. And so when they're out there, they have to be more productive, some of our guys. We didn't shoot the ball well. I think Jordan was 1 for 9. Trey was 1 for 9. Terrell was 1 for 5. And AG was 1 for 5. So credit to BYU's defense. But we have to shoot the ball better if we're going to we can't rely solely on our defense. And our defense was good in the second half.
Is it disappointing to you that you keep having, I know people talk about the slow starts, but they're at home. Is this just a function of not having crowds? I mean, you played 1 road game, and you played clearly your most complete game of the season.
Yeah, every game's different. You know, Mark, everybody plays is different. this was a game where they weren't going to leave Jordan Shackle. So it opened up more room for Trey to drive and the post to roll, and we didn't finish enough of those because there was no help in there. So every game is an adjustment. If everybody played us the same way, we could get comfortable and have the answers, but one game to the next is a preparation, and that's why as the season goes on, when we get to the conference, because of all these good teams we're playing, we'll have seen how teams play us and what adjustments we have to make when we see games like this. So it's a learning experience, and we will learn our lessons from today.
Last thing for me, you played 2 teams in the WCC now. You're going to play a third. I'm sure you've seen a little bit of them. How good is that league right now? I mean, you haven't even played Gonzaga. They're the #1 team in the country. USF is good. Pacific's pretty good. I mean, how good is the WCC this year?
Yeah, well, the ones we played are good. Pepperdine was very good when we played them. And then we played BYU, and we know what BYU is. They're really good. I mean, this is a team that beat Gonzaga to end their year last year at home, so we know how good they are. So they're well coached, and they're very good. So we'll get our look at St. Mary's. We haven't seen them in a while, but they're going to be good too. And I like the challenge. I mean, our guys don't want to play games where it's not a challenge. Now, we want to win, but we know we'll have to be ready for Tuesday, and we will be.
All right, this question's for Matt. Matt, what did you see offensively today, putting up a career-high 35 points?
I saw their defense was fanning out a little bit and gave me space to work. Gave me room to get to the basket, get to my spots. And it was just more or less I felt some of my teammates couldn't make shots. I felt like there was a lid on the rim. And so I got a little more aggressive and shots started falling. But just as well as me scoring 35, Jordan had 25 last game. These guys are very capable guys, and I'm sure it was just off night.
Matt, on that deep three that Coach was talking about, what did you see there? Was a little bit of a heat check? You just feeling it?
Definitely a heat check. I came down. We were down by 1, I believe. And I just saw that he was sagging off, and I had just hit 2 from the top of the key. And so just kind of in heat check motion, just feeling myself a little bit. Tested that shot to see if it went in. It didn't work out for me. And in part, I got to take better shots. You got to be smarter about my shot selection.
When you talk about that, I mean, when you're that hot, is that a bad shot? I mean, how do you balance between you look at the film and say, wow, that was really deep versus, man, I was feeling it, everything's going in?
It's just a fine line of knowing that you're down by 1, and I took a chance in letting that go, and if it went in, then we would have been up 2. If not, then and it didn't go in, and so it's kind of playing that game of taking better shot selection, and I'm not more or less worried about me being hot, but I'm worried about us winning. So shot selection right now is everything for me.
Last thing, in terms of a lot of the offense starting in the second half really went through you in the post before you start shooting threes. Is that something that you think you can capitalize going forward, in the ways that some other players, J.J. O'Brien, Mason Shepard did in the past?
Yes, I feel like I have a mismatch more or less every night. I feel like there's some sort of mismatch that can be made. And tonight there was a mismatch made, like Dust said, for a stretch, and then they went big, we went small. It worked out for us.
Yeah, Matt, I want to ask you about the frustration level in the locker room with the shots that just would not fall. I mean, it didn't matter how close or how far you were, they weren't going in. What kind of frustration does that create for a basketball team?
I think the type of frustration it creates is fuel to the fire, and in the sense that these guys are going to be in the gym twice as hard as they already are. And so Jordan practices probably the most shots and makes the most threes in practice, after practice, before practice. And so to see him not be able to get loose and knock a couple shots down was tough. But these guys are high-level players, Trey, Tigo, Jordan, AG. So I'm not worried. Moving forward, these guys will get it going and make sure they're consistent on the floor and find a way for themselves to get buckets.
During the game, were you just kind of scratching your head trying to figure out why these shots wouldn't fall?
A little bit, and sometimes you just got to do something different and change it up. And it is what it is. We got to get back to the drawing board, get back in the gym, and kind of put this game behind us and remember why we lost. But like Dutch said in the locker room, we got to move on to the next one. We can't harp on this.
And Matt, there was some talk and people looking at the schedule thinking, hey, this Aztecs team could go undefeated. They could run the table and do something really special. Obviously, you still can do a lot of really special things, but does a loss this early in the season create kind of that fire you mentioned earlier?
Of course, and especially to a BYU team that definitely earned their win tonight. But I felt like we were the better team. All these guys in the locker room felt like we were the better team, and we should have won. But BYU earned their win, and so it's just like I said, it's just fueling the fire.